You have two choices in front of you. Either close this screen and go back to your old life, or give us just 30 seconds and learn something that even expensive institutes fail to teach properly. The decision is yours, because what you're about to discover can change your English speaking ability forever. People think speaking English is a difficult mountain to climb, but the truth is, the problem isn't in you, it's in your method. We've put so much research and simplicity into this video that if you understand it the right way, even your way of thinking in English can change. Now the question is, are you ready, or will you repeat the same old mistake again today? Listen, I need you to think about something. Right now, today, millions of people are spending thousands of dollars. They are sitting in classrooms, they are watching expensive courses, they are buying apps, they are memorizing grammar rules, they are writing down vocabulary lists. And you know what happens? They still cannot speak English when they need to. They freeze, they panic, they go silent. This is not a failure of intelligence. This is not a failure of effort. This is a failure of method, and I'm about to show you exactly why. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that moment? That terrible moment when someone speaks to you in English and your mind goes blank? You know the words, you studied them, but your mouth will not move. Your brain freezes. You feel ashamed. Well, that feeling exists for a reason, and it's not the reason you think.
See, here is the scientific truth that most institutes don't want you to know. Your brain does not learn languages the way schools teach them. Come on, think about how you learned to swim. Did you read a textbook about water? Did you memorize the physics of buoyancy? Did you study the theory of arm movement? No, you got into the water. Your body moved. Your muscles learned. You fell down. You tried again. Your body remembered. This is called the swim lesson paradox, and it's the foundation of everything. Schools teach English like they're teaching mathematics. Rules, grammar, conjugation, memorization. But speaking English is not mathematics. Speaking English is muscle memory. Just like your muscles learn to balance on a bicycle without thinking, your mouth needs to learn English without thinking. Right now, your old method is treating English like knowledge, like information to store on a shelf. You can store knowledge and forget it tomorrow. But muscle memory? That's different. That stays with you forever. Wait, really think about this for a moment. A pianist does not think about each note when playing. Their fingers know. A swimmer does not think about balancing. Their body knows. This is muscle memory. And this is what needs to happen with your English. But schools do the opposite. They try to make you think about English instead of making English automatic. Scientists have discovered something crucial. There are two completely different ways your brain processes information. One is called passive learning. You sit, you listen, you read, you hope information enters your brain. You're completely passive. You're not doing anything. The other is called active acquisition. Your brain and body work together. You speak. You listen with purpose. You practice with real situations, real pressure, real consequences. Your brain lights up differently during active acquisition. The neural connections form faster. The learning sticks longer, much longer.
Okay, think about all the English you've studied in your life. How much can you actually use right now in a real conversation? Be honest. Maybe 50%? Maybe 30%? Maybe even less? This is not because you're not intelligent. This is because knowledge alone does not create ability. Ability comes from doing. Ability comes from active practice. Ability comes from your mouth moving, your brain thinking, your muscles remembering. Now, I want to shatter something for you, something that's holding millions of people back, and this is about vocabulary. Oh, the fear people have about vocabulary. They think English has too many words. They think they need to learn 50,000 words to speak properly. So they feel paralyzed. They feel like the mountain is too big to climb. They never even start. But this is wrong. This is a beautiful lie that's keeping you stuck. Let me tell you the truth about words. Real, honest truth. English has over 1 million words. Yes, 1 million. But here's what schools don't tell you. You don't need 1 million words to communicate. You need far, far less. So, how many words do you actually use every day? Think about it. Not how many words exist, but how many words do you speak when you talk to your family, your friends, your colleagues? Count them honestly. Most people use between 2,000 and 3,000 words every single day. But wait, it gets better. Most of what you communicate, the real core of human communication, happens with just 100 words. 100. Let me repeat that. The core communication in English uses just 100 words. 100. Think about how big that number feels compared to 1 million. It's tiny. It's manageable. It's actually achievable.
You know what this reminds me of? Lego blocks. Lego has hundreds of different pieces. Different shapes, different colors, different sizes. Looks complicated, right? But to build something amazing, you don't use every piece. You use the same pieces over and over. You take basic shapes and combine them differently. Same pieces, different arrangements. This creates something beautiful, something that looks complicated, but is actually simple pieces put together in different ways. This is exactly how English communication works. You take the same core 100 words and combine them differently. I want this, I need that, I love it, I hate it, I understand, I don't understand. You go there, I come here. She thinks about it, we talk about life. Same core words, different combinations, endless possibilities, different meanings. And here's what research shows. Scientists have studied thousands of conversations. They've counted words, they've analyzed communication patterns, and they discovered that roughly 90% of all human communication in English uses just these core words. 90%. Nearly everything people say it with these basic words, elementary words, words that are easy to learn. So when you focus on these 100 core words and how to combine them differently, something magical happens. Suddenly you realize you can communicate, you can say things, you can have conversations. You don't need to wait until you've learned 10,000 words. You don't need to wait for perfection. You can start today. You can start right now.
But here's what happens next. Most people learn these 100 words, and then they get stuck. They know the words, they can define them, but they don't use them. Their mouth doesn't practice. The active acquisition doesn't happen. The muscle memory doesn't develop. And this is where everything breaks down. Well, here's the real breakthrough. You need to create an environment where English happens naturally, automatically, without forcing it, without needing other people around you, without traveling to another country. Most people think immersion means moving to America or England. They think they need English speakers around them constantly. But this is wrong. You can create immersion in your own mind, in your own space, alone, with absolutely no one watching. Your brain has a power that most people never use. Right now, your brain generates approximately 50,000 thoughts per day. 50,000! Every single day, your brain is thinking, talking to itself, commenting on things, making observations, making decisions, creating mental conversations. 50,000 times per day. This is happening whether you're aware of it or not. Now here's the magic question. In what language do those 50,000 thoughts happen? For most people learning English, those thoughts happen in their native language. Their brain talks to itself in their first language. They only switch to English when forced to, when in class, when doing homework, when taking a test. But what if you changed this? What if you switched your internal dialogue to English? What if 50,000 of your daily thoughts started happening in English instead?
Seriously, think about the practice you'd be getting. 50,000 moments of active acquisition. 50,000 tiny conversations with yourself. 50,000 chances for your mouth to form English words, for your brain to think in English patterns, for your neural pathways to develop English thinking. This is called the internal dialogue switch, and it's one of the most powerful tools ever for learning any language. Right, your brain is already talking to yourself 50,000 times per day. You're not adding anything new to your life. You're not taking extra time. You're just changing the language of what's already happening. The same thoughts, the same observations, the same internal conversations, but in English. How do you start this? Well, you don't try to change all 50,000 thoughts immediately. That's too much. That's overwhelming. You start small. You start with daily activities. When you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking in your native language, think in English. Simple things. Say in your head, I am waking up now. This is morning. I can see the ceiling. I need to get out of bed. I feel tired. I will drink water. I will brush my teeth. Describe everything. When you're in the shower, describe the shower in English in your head. When you're making breakfast, describe breakfast. When you're walking outside, describe the walk. Notice the colors. Notice the sounds. Notice how you feel. Talk about it in English inside your mind. And listen, this is not translation. You're not thinking in your native language and then translating to English. This is direct observation in English. This is your brain thinking directly in English. Simple thinking, natural thinking, easy thinking. The power is not in the difficulty of the words. The power is not in using advanced vocabulary. The power is in repetition. The power is in the fact that you're thinking in English continuously throughout your day. You're practicing without realizing you're practicing. Your brain is acquiring English actively while you do normal things. Your mouth is forming the patterns internally. Your nervous system is learning the rhythm of English. Most people never do this. They study English for 1 hour per day. Then they spend the rest of their day thinking in their native language. They're fighting their brain. They're going against the river. But you can work with your brain instead. You can make your brain work for you. You can let all 50,000 daily thoughts become your personal English classroom, your private English immersion experience. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be worried. You might think your English is not good enough. You might think you'll sound wrong in your head. You might think you'll make mistakes and feel stupid. Let me remove this fear with pure logic. First, when you talk to yourself in your head, no one hears you. No one is judging you. No one is listening. You can say things completely wrong and nothing happens. You can mispronounce, you can use bad grammar, you can mix things up, and absolutely nothing bad happens. There's no pressure. There's no risk. This is the safest environment to practice English, your own mind. Second, remember what we said about English. English is muscle memory. Muscles don't care about perfection. Muscles care about repetition. A swimmer doesn't need perfect form to build swimming muscles. They just need to move. Move and move and move again. Your English muscles work exactly the same way. They need repetition. They need practice. They don't need perfection. Let me tell you something that will change how you think about all of this. There was a businessman who came to America without speaking perfect English. His English was broken. His grammar was poor. He made mistakes constantly. But you know what he did? He opened his mouth. He spoke anyway. He didn't wait to be perfect. He built his business. He succeeded. He became a billionaire. This is the broken English billionaire story. His English was imperfect, but his communication was powerful.
His confidence was real, and it worked. You don't need perfect English to communicate. You need enough English to try. You need courage to open your mouth. You need belief that mistakes are just part of the process, not failures that define you. This brings me to something crucial, something that removes all hesitation. It's called the 3-second rule. When you're in a conversation and you want to speak, you have 3 seconds to open your mouth. 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, your brain takes over. It creates doubt. It makes excuses. It builds fear. But in the first 3 seconds, you can just speak. You don't have time to be afraid. Your emotion is still fresh. Your thought is still alive.
So here's what you do. You want to say something in English? Say it in the first 3 seconds. Don't wait. Don't think too much. Don't prepare the perfect sentence in your mind. Just open your mouth and let it come out. Let it flow. This is when real communication happens. This is when your English actually works. This is when flow exists, without the weight of fear. Right. Now, let me share something that changes absolutely everything. It's called the compounding effect. And this might be the single most important concept in this entire talk. Everything we've discussed builds toward this one idea. The compounding effect is why small actions create huge results over time. So, the compounding effect works like this. If you improve by just 1% every single day, that 1% compounds. It builds on itself. It multiplies. Let me show you the mathematics, because this is crucial. 1% improvement every single day for 1 year is not 1% better. It's not 365% better either. You are actually 37 times better, 37 times stronger, 37 times more capable. Let me say that again because this is important. 1% better each day, compounded over 1 year, makes you 37 times better. Okay, now imagine this applied to English. You don't need to study for 8 hours a day. You don't need to attend expensive institutes. You don't need to move to another country. You don't need to quit your job. You just need to improve 1% every single day. What is 1% improvement in English? It's small. It's tiny. It's almost nothing. It's just 3 sentences per day.
3 sentences. That's your challenge. Every single day, you speak or write 3 sentences in English. Just 3. These don't need to be perfect sentences. These don't need to be about complicated topics. These can be the simplest sentences about your life. I had breakfast this morning. It tasted good. I am happy today. 3 sentences. That's it. On day 1, you speak 3 sentences. On day 2, you speak 3 sentences. You're not building sentences on top of each other. You're not saving them. Each day is fresh. Each day is a 1% improvement because you're practicing actively. Your mouth is moving. Your brain is working. You're acquiring English through action, not storage. Multiply this across a year. Every single day, 3 sentences. 365 days. That's over 1,000 sentences. Over 1,000 moments of active practice. Some days the sentences will be harder. Some days you'll make mistakes. Some days the grammar might be completely wrong. But every day you're practicing. Every day your mouth is forming the shapes of English. Every day your brain is thinking in English patterns. Every day your internal dialogue is shifting more toward English. After 3 months, something shifts. The words become smoother. The thinking becomes faster. What took 5 seconds to say now takes 2 seconds. Your mouth knows the shape. After 6 months, you notice something beautiful. You're thinking in English sometimes, without meaning to. A thought comes into your head in English directly. Your brain didn't translate from native language. It thought in English automatically. After 1 year, people ask you, when did your English become so good?
And you won't have a clear answer. It wasn't one big moment. It was every single day. 3 sentences. Compounding. This is the power that schools don't teach.
This is the reality that expensive courses don't want you to know. The method is not expensive. The method is not complicated. The method is just consistent. But wait, there's one more thing. One thing that makes all of this stick. It's something your brain does naturally, but you need to use it intentionally. Your brain loves to solve problems. Your brain loves to feel like it's part of something bigger. Your brain loves when you ask for help. Your brain loves community. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you to do something simple. I'm going to ask you to comment below. I want you to write 3 words, just 3 words. 3 words in English that describe your fear about speaking English. These 3 words are your commitment. These 3 words tell your brain, I am serious about this. I am joining this community. I am changing my English. Maybe your 3 words are, I am scared. Maybe they're, I cannot speak. Maybe their grammar is hard. Maybe they're, I'm too old. Whatever they are, write them. Put them in the comments. Because when you see other people's fears, something incredible happens. You realize everyone feels scared. You realize you're not alone. You realize everyone is starting from somewhere. Your brain gets a boost. Your brain remembers why you started. And when people see your comment, they will comment back. They will support you. They will share their struggles. This comment section becomes your environment of immersion. This becomes a place where thousands of people are all thinking about English together. This becomes your classroom without walls, without expensive fees, without boring lectures, without judgment.
Feel this. You're not alone in this journey. You're part of a movement. You're part of something bigger. And this matters because human beings don't change in isolation. We change together. We change when we're part of a community. So let me bring this all together for you. Everything, simple and clear. English is not knowledge. English is muscle memory. You don't need millions of words. You need 100 core words used repeatedly in different combinations. You don't need to travel. You can create immersion in your mind by switching your internal dialogue to English. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to open your mouth in the first 3 seconds. You don't need to study for years. You just need to improve 1% each day through 3 sentences. And you don't need to be alone. You have a community of people doing this with you. This is not a difficult mountain to climb. This is a simple, clear path forward. You now understand the method. You now know exactly why the old way failed. You now have the actual tools to acquire English, not just study it. The real question now is not, can I do this? You already know you can. The question is, will I start today? And the answer should be yes, right now, today. So do this immediately. Think of 3 words in English that describe your fear about speaking. Write them in the comments below. Be part of this movement. Be part of the community. Start today with your first 3 sentences. Your English journey begins right now.